felt like I was bursting with creativity and I had nowhere to put it. So like, if you could make the job of your dreams, what would it be? I was like, well, somewhere where I'm going to sing all the time and everybody's going to tell me how good my voice is and how pretty I am, and I get to play all my instruments and sing with my friends. And that's exactly what I did.
It's amazing. You have such a stage presence, and the reason you have such a stage presence is because of the joy that you bring in doing what you do. You can't have the stage presence unless you have the joy behind it, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially if you get to where I am in life, and if you don't really like to do it anymore, there's really no reason to do it, because there's no, I mean, it's just a nearly impossible profession, show business. And so I do when I get the chance, especially, if I have a captive audience, I joke about it in my Linda Ronstadt show, but I mean, ever since I was a little girl, my favorite thing to do is to stand in my house and pretend I'm giving a concert. So, I mean, what could be bad on a ship? I'm taking a world-class vacation and I have hundreds of, the thousands of people sitting there listening to me sing. And it's really been fun. It's been a fun end of career little kind of lark to go out, and I always meet someone interesting. And you are the celebrity ascent guest of honor in that slot. Always meet someone interesting.
Well, and so here's the thing, I do too whenever I go, because it's like we choose, right? We choose how we want to present ourselves, and we choose how we want to show up, and we choose if we want to really attract our tribe into our world. And so, and that's for me, that's where the joy is. And I remember at the beginning, my husband used to, when we were just getting to know each other, it's like, you're always the last one to leave. I'm like, yes. Like, I am the last one to leave, because I want to meet that cool person, and really get to know who they are,
Right.
and not really the cool person. It's the person whose heart resonates with my heart. Yeah.
Right. Well, it was fascinating to me that you two stopped me as I was. So you guys, I think you came to the first show and I had a whole nother second show to do that night.
Yeah.
And you stopped me and you said, "Are you an energy worker? You're an energy worker, right?" And I was like, "Okay, Liz, are you going to own this?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." Yes, I am. And so that was fascinating. So I was like, "Oh, she saw you. She sees you."
Mhm,
Like,
mhm. I do
yeah,
see you, and I
yeah.
did see you, because like, it was clear to me. I'm like, "Wow," and so it's so much fun for me. I mean, I remember, this is when I first moved to Georgia, which is only, just a little over 2 years now. There was a woman walking, past in, the botanical gardens, and I stopped her. I'm like, "Hey, you." 'Cause I get called by God or called by spirit to,
Right.
like, you need to know this person, right?
Right. Well, and I get stopped, and I have my whole life, and
Oh.
I can turn it off.
Mhm.
Like if I don't want to be stopped, like if I don't want to shimmer, but owning my shimmer has been part of my evolution, definitely as a person, and that I know that I can. I mean, if I really harness my energy and I really focus, I can make people's heads turn. Anyone can. Anyone can.
If
But
we shine our own inner light.
if you shine your light. And so I was like, so like, and also like, so I have a life in show business, so then I am achieving my goal because I want someone to notice me
Mhm.
and want to
Right,
know my story.
right.
Right. So it's kind
And
of
you
born.
are a storyteller.
Yeah.
Because I asked you, I said, "What's your purpose in life?"
Oh, tell stories with the sound of my voice. I know it now.
Yeah.
But that's been, I feel really lucky to have gotten to do it. And I trained as an act just as an actor, but I had this very extensive music background too, because my mom was a music teacher, and I played a lot of instruments, and always had this natural voice. But my what I really wanted to do was tell stories. And like Linda Ronstadt, I've have a versatility about me, and then I've done it in a lot of different ways, and that why metaphorically Linda Ronstadt is a good fit for me too, because she's kind of just tried she liked to do what she was doing, so she kind of tried it in every way, shape, or form, and
Like, she held no bounds.
she didn't. Yeah, she held no bounds. And so one of the things that when I first started, I mean, the whole Linda Ronstadt show came out of me challenging myself to get out of my own way.
Yes. Oh, talk about that, would you please? Because that's, I mean,
Yeah, well, I was at a point, I was in, yeah, I had turned 50. I was still in the musical. I was still making a living on Broadway. I have a very long marriage, just some background, a very long marriage. So that part of my life was all fun. But I definitely had some career frustration. And I was looking at like I really needed to do something for probably at least another decade or 10 to 15 years realistically if I if my energy level was going to stay at the same, the energy and the creativity level that I was feeling. I felt like I was bursting with creativity and I had nowhere to put it. Not
Wow.
because I didn't get hired. I got hired all the time, but not really in anything that showed what I thought was special about me. I think it was right after I was doing Amazing Grace, which was a piece that I had been involved with from its conception, from the very first workshop of, and then taking it out of town, this biggest Chicago trial, and moving into Broadway, and it couldn't run, and I was making a very nice paycheck. Didn't sing a note in that show, by the way.
Which is
And
crazy because your voice
right.
is
And so I was
amazing.
like, well, when am I going to have the job that's going to show what I think I still have? And I was like, oh, gosh darn it, I'm going to have to make it myself.
Mhm.
And so I kind of dared myself to get out of my own way. And I set up a spiritual practice for myself, basically a daily pep talk to the phases of the moon. I'd always been kind of a moon lover, been interested in the moon. It definitely has a feminine energy. I was not a religious person, but a very spiritual person, and I was kind of looking for a everyday practice. And so through this I just followed my instincts about it, and I kept daring myself to get out of your own way. Okay, so if you could make the job of your dreams, what would it be? I was like, well, something where I'm going to sing all the time, and everybody's going to tell me how good my voice is and how pretty I am, and I get to play all my instruments and sing with my friends. And that's exactly what I did. In the big version of my show, I have two friends come and sing with me because Linda Ronstadt was a very famous collaborator. She had collaborations with Emmylou Harris and Dolly Parton, James Ingram, Aaron Neville. I don't get to do that on the ship because I have 45 minutes to tell a very
Mhm.
career. Anyway, that's why I created this Linda Ronstadt show for myself, just really out of creative frustration. I was teaching a lot at the time, and I could tell that my voice had found a very comfortable pocket.
Mhm.
Our voices are part of our physical being, and
Oh, all day.
they
I mean,
do
you can actually use the hum of your voice to heal any part of your body.
right. And I notice if I am depressed or not ready to get over something yet, I don't sing because I know if I sing, I'm going to vibrate at a frequency so high that my physical body will not be able to be sad anymore.
I get it.
So then if I'm not done with my wallowing, I don't sing. And then the
Right.
minute I sing, I'm like, okay, it's moved out. It's almost like I've used the sound of my voice to get rid of it. And I have started incorporating the sound of my voice in how I do release things and the way I also manifest things. And that's part of the whole manifestation process is the verbalization of things. As the more you speak things to yourself, the more you just train your mind to think that way. And so I would dare myself. I would say, okay, so if you had no limitation, so if you had no budget, and if you had no what would you dream this thing could be? And I was like, well, I would be telling stories with the sound of my voice all over the world. And
Mhm.
I would meet fascinating people, and I would make enough money and enough I would get enough rewards in all the other abundant ways that I would have the safety of that until the end of my career, until I don't need to have an income anymore. And don't you know, that's just basically what I did.
I teach people how to do this.
Right,
This
right.
is what I do, and I'm sitting here in awe because what you did, which, it takes a lot of practice, is you listened to your inner voice. And then because you're listening to your inner voice and your higher self and source energy, right? You're able to bring in the manifestation of your dreams. And they can actually, it shows up different for everybody, but for me, there are things that I need, and they actually give me a step-by-step process. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Thank you,"
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and I've really seen it happen, and I've seen like, oh wow, I had forgotten, like something will come, like I'll get a phone call or something will happen. I go, oh, I forgot about this one. This was like 8 months ago, and it's almost nearly exactly what I said. Now, it doesn't always come in the form that you think it's going to. That's what I've also learned.
Mhm.
But the abundance does show up, and it's living in the abundance of your life. I mean, if you love your life and the life you're creating, and you say that all the time, you're going to vibrate that way, and that's the way it's going to come in. I mean, I have some nasty days, believe me.
Oh, we all
Um,
do. I had a conversation with Spirit last night that we, you know, I
yeah.
kind of created some boundaries. So no,
Right.
I hear you.